I believe that we have West Business Development Center on the agenda as well. I'm not sure.
We do.
That would be next, right?
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks, Liz.
Thanks again for this call. This has really been fascinating. I haven't been on it for a while, and it's really delightful to see how much progress is being made. I mean, I know progress always comes when there's money floating about, but you guys are doing a great job, like putting the pieces together. And I know this has been, Jeff, you've been hanging in there for a very long time on this. So it's really interesting to see it as an outside observer coming in. The only thing I really can share with you today is a few things, which is one, the digital literacy. So, you know, if you are thinking about that or you see opportunities, please contact us and let us know. We've been knocking at this door, as you know, for a long time, even prior to COVID. But when COVID happened, it was so essential for our residents to become digitally literate. And it takes many, many forms. It's not just knowing what a WISP is and how to connect to your phones, but how to do a PDF and how to get your grant and how to, I mean, it's just, you know, our offices are constantly bombarded by business owners who need to have that information for their own productivity.
And I think right now today, sorry to interrupt you there,
Yeah.
but this kind of digital literacy is something very close to my heart, because specifically in regard to the increasingly dire security landscape and privacy landscape that people find themselves in, and little things that we can do in a community to help everyone avoid the disastrous consequences of a bad web search, let's say, you know, and just clicking the wrong thing. And that kind of literacy, I think, is so important.
Yeah,
so glad to hear that that's something that's being pursued.
Yeah. We've had 4 or 5 cybersecurity workshops over the last year. We're going to continue to do that. I mean, I think what people don't, I mean, not you all on this call, but a lot of folks think like, oh, I learned this and I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I can walk away, oh, I learned about phishing and I'm done, you know. And the reality is it's like an ongoing learning process, because we're all learning, we're all, you know, don't want to fall into, you know, the wrong environment, or new technologies are coming on board all the time, especially around productivity. And so how do you educate the community as well as business owners on this? So we're continuing to knock at that door. We're always looking for funds and grants to help us do that. That's why the pilot program, I think, we finally like secured some money, and we just wrote in the grant that we want to do this as a pilot, because year 2 and 3, maybe we can expand it to be hubs. So working with all of you, I would really love to do that. The second thing I would say is that one of the things we have been doing is we have a 1-year contract with the county right now to help on expanding economic development and building the capacity for economic development in the county. And that opens the door in a lot of different ways. And a lot of people are having different conversations across the county with various state and federal agencies. So it's what struck me today is all the wonderful work that's being done today and learning about it. I also happen to know an example of the importance of having sound bites for what we need. Supervisor McGorty just recently went and spoke with a group of folks on the IIJA, the Infrastructure and Investment and Jobs Act. And, you know, he had probably 10 or 15 minutes to say what Mendocino County needed. And the list was road repairs, blue economy, biofuel and green hydrogen, water infrastructure. Broadband wasn't on the list of the sound bites. So we need sound bites of like what you need, like tell everybody, like a paragraph, a sentence, a statement, only because we're all in these different meetings. And a lot of them are in technical meetings and not as in-depth as this one. But we want to make sure, and I would trust this group to fashion what that soundbite is and make sure that we all, Mendocino County needs this, like Tony, I like when you said fiber. Okay, got it. That's our goal. We want fiber. Like, you know, whatever it is, those little sound bites ripple out into the community, because then, and I'm sure Jess knows this, being in Huffman's office, they hear from different agencies and hear the same thing. And that moves whatever our needs are along. So I just wanted to put in a plug like that. And Philip, just one thing. There's a Mendocino tech company in Fort Bragg. Alando, I think is his name, but he's Spanish, and he's a great guy. And if you need somebody to do Spanish tech translation, I could give you his name if you know people who are in need of stuff like that.
Thank you.
But he's up in Fort Bragg. So, and we have a
Thank
whole
you.
Spanish programming that we're doing. So hopefully the technology training will also be done in Spanish as well. That's it.
Good. Thank you. John, welcome. We're just finishing up our reports. Do you have anything you'd like to, as representing the county schools office?
Yeah, sorry, we were dealing with, oh, okay, making sure. We were just dealing with an outage at a school district, so so I had to step away. But so to answer your question, we're probably about, we had updated our E-rate for our to go from ASE to ADE network. 44 drops. It's you know, a dozen plus schools. So we're, I'd say, about 3/4 of the way done. There's still a couple school districts where we're changing over from direct to a star topology. So we have a little bit of tweaking on the AT&T side to get that configured, but it's not a big deal. But it's, again, most schools won't notice it, but there are a couple, referring to what our kind of agenda is in general, these meetings. They're going from, you know, from podunk nothing to like a gig or beyond. So some of those are pretty exciting to get a new network drop.
Well, I think it's fantastic. And my daughter is a school principal, and I'm always hearing about, you know, the kids who are home studying who have no connectivity or very low and all that. So it's good to hear that.
It's interesting that that's priority one for us, is getting it to the students and teachers and campuses. But on the flip side, it's interesting because so much stuff is in the cloud. Like when we look at Aries, we're still, some of our sites still have a hosted local Aries server, a SQL server. And Aries is kind of going to force everybody to retire that topology or that type of infrastructure probably by end of 2023. But we can't just say, hey, you're just going to go to cloud Aries, because if their bandwidth is weak or
Right.
you know, inconsistent, they can't do it. So that's another tie-in to, you know, again, to push for funding to say, hey, it's not just students, it's, you know, which is priority one, but beyond that is actually infrastructure, the communication with the databases that are more and more stored in the cloud, that it makes it difficult to have a poor or unacceptable bandwidth for the school.
Very true. Because it means money. I mean, for schools, how they're doing their attendance accounting makes the big difference on what gets reported to the state. There's no question about that. So we don't have anybody from the Farm Bureau. So we would then generally move to, for the good of the order. Jeff, do you have something else you want to add before I jump there?
I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
We have for the good of the order on every agenda, and the purpose is there anything we've forgotten? Anything, you know, last 2 cents anybody wants to throw out? No, we're doing well. Very good. And we're going to end the meeting early, which is always nice for everybody to have that sense of accomplishment. Thank you all for attending. We will announce when our next meeting is. We usually hold them quarterly. And we'll do the same thing that we did this, give you at least 2 weeks heads up, maybe even a month's heads up, because this next one will be a new announcement. It's not a set calendarized already. Okay. Any other last words anybody wants to throw out?
I wanted to quickly say this is the first one of these meetings that I've attended, and it was a real pleasure to be a part of it and listen and absorb and just overall have good conversation and about an important topic. So thank you all.
Very welcome, Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Well, round of applause to Jeff for his continual masterminding of the agenda and doing all the shifty paperwork that has to be done. Thank you very much. Hope you all have a very pleasant winter holiday. All right.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Yes, likewise.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.